Yes, another week, another Porsche video. But I think you're all used to it now. I'm down here at the Porsche Centrum Twente in the Netherlands. I originally came here to film a video about bargain 911s, whether it's worth considering getting into Porsche life with a cheap 911. We just finished filming that video and the awesome team down here said, oh look, do you want to go and get a coffee? We're in a beautiful part of the Netherlands, about an hour and a half east of Amsterdam. There's a wonderful river that flows through these kind of historic towns that are full of amazing coffee spots, and the guys knew I like coffee, so let's grab a coffee before you leave town. Then they said, what would you like to drive to the coffee stop? Now I thought they were going to offer me an electric Macan or a Panamera. But they said, no, you can literally pick any car in the showroom. So of course, I picked that. It's raining. I mean, like and I think it's going to rain quite heavily in a minute, which I'm excited. I'm also incredibly nervous. Let's not forget 700 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tyres. This is a recipe for disaster. But if someone offers you a drive in a GT2 RS, you say yes. You don't turn that down because, well, these cars are rare and they are now worth insane amounts of money. This car, advertised for 525,000 euros, looks like a bargain if you ask me. In the UK, our weirder, smaller market, often advertising cars at £500,000. So this is a lot of money, and I'm about to drive it in the rain. It's just mad. I last drove a GT2 RS, I think during Drive the World back in 2019, so it's been a while, and the overwhelming thing is the power. When this thing launched, it used the engine from that generation, the 991.2's Turbo S, but they gave it 120 more horsepower. Until the latest generation Turbo S, this was the most powerful 911 ever made. And again, I'm about to drive it in the rain, and it's not mine, it's for sale. These people are lunatics. Let's go. It's pretty extreme in here. For the 991.2 generation of the 911, they didn't make a standard GT2, they only made the GT2 RS. And like with all other RS models, it's quite full on. We've got these bucket seats, which I famously don't love because getting in and out of them is just a bit uncomfortable. They bang my thighs. Of course, a full old roll cage, harnesses, which I don't think we're going to be using today. There's carbon fibre everywhere. This particular car has the popular, but at the time quite new, Weissach pack. Saved about 30 kilos. As I say, that's been kind of run out into various other GT models, but for the 2RS it was quite a new thing, and yeah, just, I mean, carbon fibre steering wheel. This is a very rare paint to sample GT2 RS as well. I think they made about 1,000 GT2 RSs in total, and less than 100 were paint to sample. Then inside, black with contrast yellow stitching. And whilst, look, yes, it is a very familiar 991.2 911 interior, it does feel special. There's enough going on in here to make you think, oh yeah, I'm not in a standard Carrera S. Even just looking at the fins on the front wings, which obviously carried over to the new 3RS. Oh, what's coming in here? Oh, that's a very nicely coloured 997.2 Carrera 4S. I don't know if you saw that on camera or not, but I'm such a nerd, aren't I? I'm sitting here in a Viper Green GT2 RS and I just freaked out about a 997 4S. Anyway, the rain has slightly lightened, I think. So let's go get a coffee. How do I start this thing up? Oh, I have to put a key in. I forgot that that was a thing. Let's pull out that. That goes in there. Turn. Sports exhaust, because why not? And power up the 700 horsepower GT2 RS. Beefy! Right, initial impressions, quite surprising. As I think I've already mentioned, I last drove one of these cars 7 years ago, in 2019. I had forgotten what this car was like. But of course, given its reputation, the fact it's an RS with 700 horsepower, as I think I mentioned as well, a little bit intimidated getting back behind the wheel on a greasy day. I was like, oh, this is going to be intense. But no, it's a pussycat at low speeds. It is just reminding me how good 991.2 generation 911s are in general, and especially compared to 992 GT products. Because, okay, I'm on quite smooth Dutch roads, but the road compliance, the suspension, it's lovely. Even the cabin noise, I think it's quite quiet in here. Okay, we are, if I've gone above 2000 RPM, it's a miracle. We are very much cruising. But I think my 992 GT3 is louder in the cabin, and it's definitely bumpier, even on roads like this. But this thing, it just poodles along. And okay, there is very little of the Turbo S in this car, even though the engine kind of starts its life in a Turbo S. But there's some familiarity to a Turbo S driving experience more than a GT3 driving experience. It's honestly super chill. You could daily a GT2 RS, no jokes. You know, the roll cage is a little extreme and the looks are really intense, but behind the wheel, we're having a lovely time poodling around. Even the grabs, even the brakes aren't that grabby, and visibility is good. Look, here's a speed bump and up and over I go. What a thing! This is absolutely, most definitely not GT2 RS weather. We just filmed some flybys and drone shots, which you've maybe already seen, and then suddenly the heavens opened and there is a lot of rain in the air. This is, oh my gosh. Now, when it comes to driving the 2RS dynamically, it's a little bit easier or more simple to set up than more modern day GT product Porsches. We don't have a dial on the steering wheel. We have this very simplistic old school GT department steering wheel, which is just a steering wheel. Who would have thunk it? Down here on this kind of main console, you've got a PDK Sport button, which of course sort of improves shift time, sports exhaust. We can firm up the ride and then dial back traction control, which I will not be doing today, because yes, 700 basically horsepower to the rear wheels. Of course, the new Turbo S has a little bit more than that, but it's all-wheel drive, and it weighs well north of 300 kilos more than this car because it is an RS product. It's lightweight. They use a lot of carbon fiber components, a lot of magnesium. The thing, well, look, it's familiar as a GT product. The way that you can place this car, the feedback through the wheel, the feedback through the chassis. I dream of being able to drive this car hard on a dry day on a mountain road. But even like this, pussyfooting my way around these very wet, small Dutch roads, I can already tell. You get an immediate feeling. Tony and I call it like the 30-meter test or the 30-yard test. You know, as you're rolling out of the car park, whether a car's going to be your kind of car. And it's what the GT3s are missing. As much as I love my car, and as great as GT3s are, in a straight line, they're lagging. And if I'm in the wrong gear coming out of a hairpin, I'm like, oh, come on. But of course, with these heavily reworked turbochargers, this thing just flies. But then you've got the directness and agility in the corners. So you can attack corners and straight lines. This thing is just an absolute weapon, but it makes it such a good road car. And then with that 991.2 GT suspension, which isn't quite as brittle as the later product in the 992 era, this is such a good road car. I honestly always thought of it or remembered it as being this kind of full-on track monster, but it's such a good road car. Now there's a few speed bumps here. I'm going to try just to demonstrate how sketchy it can be. Oh! Basically, had no traction there. Let me just see if I can do another pull. I'm almost too nervous to do a first gear pull, but it's a complete rocket ship. And the noise is weird because you're so used to, at least I am, in a GT product Porsche, having this singing, naturally aspirated 9,000 RPM motorsport engine, and then suddenly we've got this kind of like very turbo-S sounding engine. This kind of turned up to 11, which is well, Jerry Seinfeld's least favourite expression, but it is. It's just a louder experience. It's not that engaging, but you definitely know you're in something fast. Then you've got these kind of cracks and burbles, which I don't love. Actually, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to be brave and I'm going to say I don't like the way it sounds. Or I don't love the way it sounds. That's the only kind of letdown, but it's so effective that you kind of forgive it, and the way it bangs the gears in PDK Sport. It's fabulous this thing, even on a miserable day like this. I don't need a coffee. I say it all the time. I go on these coffee runs in these crazy performance cars. My heart is racing so fast already. I do think a double espresso is going to give me a heart attack. But hey, look, at least I'll go the way I wanted to. Driving an excessively over-engineered and fantastic Porsche. So unreal. Yeah, the brake's still there. This car's only got, well, it's got less than 20,000 kilometers on it, but that is well used for a GT2 RS. I think that my biggest takeaway though is how good it is on the road. And that's how I'd be using this thing, whilst of course you're able to attack tracks, this being an RS and a Weissach pack car, but it would be so good on a road trip. Now I think I've got a section here without speed bumps. It is super wet, but let's see if we can have a little bit of a go. Okay, maybe don't flat out accelerate on a corner, Sam. It just holds itself so well. It's glued to the road, this thing, and then, oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, third gear onwards, and I've got a rooster tail out of my rear view mirror. That huge wing, which was obviously massive back in the day, it's kind of been put to shame by the 3 RS. But oh, this thing is so engaging. It just wants me to go further and faster, and I was about to say it's worth the $500,000 price tag. I don't know if I can say that, but it's worth the reputation. As I say, even at slow speed, you can just feel it and sense it. Oh, it's so good. But don't forget, it's got a lot of power. Like so much power. It's with all the traction systems on. Ah! Well, of course, just as I stop driving, the sun comes out. But anyway, we made it to today's coffee stop, which is 30ml coffee roasters in Deventer. I am practicing my Dutch. I don't think it's going to get any better. But this is a really cute little historic town, which is right next to the Porsche Centre. Came here for dinner last night. It's just a vibe, and it's got perfect parking for your GT2 RS, which is getting so much attention. I think that would happen anywhere in the world. I do know here in the Netherlands, obviously they're more pro-cycle than they are 700 horsepower supercars, but it just stands out. It still looks mad all these years on, and considering the GT3 RS is even crazy. It's just got presence, hasn't it? It's funny because recently Jethro Bovingdon made a video sort of talking about the greatest Porsches ever made, and he said that he started that assuming he was going to pick the GT3 RS 4-litre, the 997 generation, the kind of last Metzger engine GT Porsche, but this was a very close contender, and in fact he wasn't sure where his heart really lied, because it's so impressive. And I know I just drove it in the rain on a relatively straight road at quite low speeds, but you can just tell, you just get that sense. It's so cool, and the Viper green is really suiting it. Anyway, of course this is a coffee test as much as a car test, so oh, sick. Oh God, I'm going to get another one. Okay, we've picked a good spot for parking, for coffee, for cinnamon cake, and for thinking back on the GT2 RS. Oh God, things are going everywhere. but it is dry now, so I had to do at least like one half hard acceleration. Oh, leaving town just then, I kept catching the reflection of this car in shop windows and things like, it looks amazing. And it got such a positive reaction in that town. I kind of thought being here in the Netherlands, you know, bright green race car looking 911, people might turn their nose up at it, but no. People wanted to come over and take photos and ask questions. It just, oh, it's got such great presence. But it's the turbocharged nature which obviously sets it apart. And the interesting thing moving forward is, well, is it still going to be such a unique recipe? Because we're all expecting the next GT3 RS and maybe even GT3 to be turbocharged as well. Because of emissions regulations, that's what we're thinking is going to happen. And then where does that put the GT2 RS? And if they're going to do a GT2 RS, is that going to have 1,000 horsepower? Probably. That seems mad for a 911 with 1,000 horsepower. So I don't know how we're going to look back on this car in 5 years' time, but right now it is just unreal. Now there's a little bit of a dip here, so I'm going to try and see if I can absolutely launch it. There's a little tunnel, okay? Oh. I don't know if you saw, but the McCann GTS that the team were driving tried to launch it as well. See you later, alligator. Oh, this thing is just too freaking cool. Anyway, I'm almost back at the Porsche Centre. It's time for me to wrap up my day. And yeah, this car firmly placed in my top 3 all-time 911s. Unbelievable bit of kit. Why is it dry now? Why couldn't it have been dry earlier?